nation in the world next to Indonesia. And so we are not only concerned, but more concerned than others in regard to climate change because of global warming. We can visualize our large cities like Manila or Cebu or Davao, which are coastal communities, to slowly disappear as the level of the Pacific Ocean, and we are in the middle of that, as well as the level of the China Sea, and we are also in the middle of that, because the Philippines happens to be at the junction of these two great oceans, the Pacific Ocean and the South China Sea. And so, unless we ourselves provide and implement the protective as well as the preventive measures at this time now, it is foreseeable that maybe within one generation, much of our coastal communities will disappear under just 1 meter of the rise of the Pacific Ocean and the South China Sea. Fortunately for us in the Philippines, unlike the small Pacific nations out there, like Fiji, Vanuatu, Micronesia, Nauru, Kiribati, they have no more other areas to run to in case that ocean becomes higher and higher. They can only climb the coconut trees in order to survive.
Oh, God.
But in our case here in Taiwan, Japan, Indonesia, and the Philippines, there is still some high mountains to which to seek refuge. But, again, that will just be only temporary survival.
That's right.
In the end, if that water level keeps rising and rising, even the highest mountain will be submerged. But we don't have to wait for that condition to be reached.
That's right.
Because as I said, as the space becomes smaller and smaller, the food becomes less and less, and very soon there's only one glass of water remaining near the top of the mountain between my brother, this guy here on my right, who is always smiling, and myself. But we do not want that to happen. We don't want to reach that point. Because right now we can still do something about it if we collaborate more closely as governments and more closely as non-government organizations or NGOs. And for governments and NGOs within nations to collaborate even more closely than they're doing now.
Thank you. Dear Master, would you like to contribute as well?
Thank you, sir. I think the President has told you everything. He is very right. The situation is really urgent. And honestly, every day I'm worried as much as the President is about the fate of many people, such as the one in those small islands where there's nowhere to go. It's truly so desperate, and it must have been very scary for these people, and I don't know how to comfort them. I just don't know what else to do for them. I wish and pray all the able governments and great nations, please help them. Please take them in your country and make them a nation there. After all, they're also human like us, and they suffer the way we do. Just put ourselves in their situation, then we will know how they feel. Suppose it's us, suppose it's me, suppose it's you who are in that situation. How would you feel? So please, great nations, able nations. Please give them some piece of land. It won't be much. They are able people. They are dignified people. And suddenly they have become hopeless and beggars. But they will rise again, given that they have enough time and comfort and a place to settle down. Then they will begin their life again. And I'm sure they will be a great contribution to your nations as well. Please, for God's sake, help these people before it's too late. We cannot just sit here and watch them drown.
Thank you, Master.
Thank you, sir,
Thank
for
you.
reminding us of that.
Thank you very much, Master.
We do hope we do something so that we can stop the rising sea level the way it is right now and not getting worse, so that other nations can still help the already sinking nations. Otherwise, if we all sunk, then, oh God help us.
Our following question. The whole world is now in economic recession with higher unemployment. Is it the right time to encourage the use of self-sustainable, simple organic farming techniques? Should we return to a more simple way of agriculture and encourage a loving plant-based diet? Sir.
Yes, in fact, we hosted in Cebu, in the Central Philippines, last September, the Asia-Pacific Conference on sustainable production and sustainable consumption. We were not talking about long-term development as we pursue under the umbrella of the United Nations, pursuant to the UN's Earth Agenda 21, Agenda for the 21st Century. But we discussed very short-term measures in Cebu that have to do with producing with total efficiency a certain item needed by human beings must be the result of maximum efficiency so that nothing is wasted. At the same time, we must also change our patterns of consumption. Again, I go back to my simple model in our own home of eating everything on your plate and drinking every bit of water in your glass, because we must think all the time about the 51% of the world's people who do not have enough to eat. They do not get 3 meals a day, as you and I do, or 8 glasses of water. Maybe the food they may eat is coming from garbage, because they have to scavenge from the garbage can the food that they must eat. They have nothing else. And maybe the water they're drinking is dirty water, just, drawn or picked up from the nearby river, which is already so polluted. So this is the condition of a majority of the world today. The UN says that more than half of the world's people are earning the equivalent of $1 a day. That's what? 47 Philippine pesos, or 34 New Taiwan dollars. It's so small as an average. And therefore, it's our responsibility who are more comfortable. And this is said in the Bible, and also in the Quran, and in the holy book of the Jewish nations, that it is our responsibility to prosper our neighbors if they are needy.